before I do two concerns that I might have with this, let me give you some positive thing about this. You know how when we're talking about religion and we want to advocate for the rights of atheists or blasphemers, um, it seems like they're not included in this, right? Because when we said like, yeah, a major source of oppression or silencing or persecuting people for their views has been because of their religion, but usually done by other religions, right? But one of the main victims, especially these days, compared to other religions, is are atheists and blasphemers, right? And it seems like when religious people are being persecuted for their views, it gets a lot more support and attention, and people saying, "Oh, their religious rights is being violated." But when it comes to atheists and blasphemers, or people, or infidels, or whatever, or secularists, it doesn't seem to be getting the same level of backlash or attention when they are being targeted, right? And because this whole freedom of religion part is such a popular call to action for people around the world, for governments, for world organizations to pay attention, for the United Nations, is because it's been very successful at protecting religious people. Non-religious people are trying to to get on that bandwagon, because like, hey, we need like some of this protection as well, by saying that freedom of religion cannot be cannot happen unless we have freedom from religion as well. So they just have to do a two-step argument and be like, hey, freedom of religion must also mean freedom from religion, because freedom of religion would not be possible unless we have freedom from religion, right? But that just doesn't it just doesn't flow as easily as just having that there for religious people, freedom of religion, right? That is just like such a powerful um, you know, message, such a powerful call to action, such a powerful, laws around the world for people to unite on, and a lot of non-religious people have been left out, right? So you could keep arguing that freedom of religion means freedom from religion, but it would have been so much more powerful and so much easier for non-religious people to fight for their rights if they had something specifically saying in human rights, the United Nations Charter of Human Rights and other world organization or other secular countries specifically saying freedom from religion, and we don't have that, right? But if instead of freedom of religion, people keep get rid of freedom of religion and focus on freedom of conscience, and then what you have then is that all these religious people, in order the branding, the message that they need to keep promoting, right, to get their rights would be freedom of conscience. Do you know what I mean? Like, they right now they don't have to promote our rights. They don't have to even look like they're promoting our rights. They don't have to even look like they are opening the door to us. But when they're fighting for themselves, because when they're fighting for themselves, they're fighting for this uh, you know, banner that they're uniting under, that is called freedom for religion, right? But if it was freedom from or for religion, then all of a sudden, when they're protecting themselves, they're giving legitimacy and authority to an idea that would also be protecting us. Right now, that's not happening, right? But if we take freedom of religion away from them, now all of a sudden they all have to unite to be able to get their rights. They have to unite under a new banner called freedom of conscience, right?
Hmm.
And freedom of conscience by itself includes freedom of and from religion. So now all of a sudden, all these organizations, all these religious groups, all these governments that want to promote religion in the name of their, with freedom of religion, what they do, they have to hop over to promoting this idea called freedom of conscience. And it's great, because if they promote that instead, if they want, because they're going to need it, because they're going to need it to be able to promote their crap. But by promoting that, all of a sudden now they're legitimizing and giving authority to an idea, to a concept that will be protecting ex-Muslims, apostates, infidels, blasphemers, atheists, secularists, right? And now all of a sudden we get all these powerful, the Catholic Church,
Yeah.
Turkey, and all of these people, all this money is going to go use an idea that the more this idea is popularized, we also get the benefit out from that as well. So that's another thing. But go on
Yeah,
before I go
no,
to the
no,
next
I
one.
agree. I think it's just that this whole idea of religious freedom is a way to give yourself a cushion to be able to discriminate without the accountability, and not only without the accountability, but with benefits, and also not have to pay taxes. I mean, it's just overall, it's a bad idea overall, and I think it's a good idea. Like, if we have freedom of religion, we always try to say, all of the atheists people and the Freedom from Religion Foundation, they'll say, well, freedom of religion in the First Amendment also means freedom from religion. But it doesn't specifically say that. We should also insist on having that as a separate thing. Why is that assumed? That, okay,
Mm.
freedom of religion means freedom from religion.
Yeah,
Um,
but if you say freedom of conscience, that is as both of those things are assumed,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and then
Right.
freedom of conscience again. That's also covered under free thought and free expression and all of that. So it's it is kind of interesting. I There's another thing that well, I mean, I'll go back to Martin's article, because I mean he actually covered pretty much all of the aspects of this argument, where he's saying, and I'll read this out. He says, quote, moreover, what exactly is religion anyway? By enshrining the ill-conceived notion of freedom of religion in our constitution, our poor state obliges itself to practice cultural anthropology and even theology. Does every authentic religion have a creation story or belief in a kind of afterlife? Is a supreme being or religious service required? Is a holy book an essential ingredient? None of these characteristics is culturally universal. By the way, how many people do you need to form a religion? Is a single prophet's voice in the wilderness sufficient? Right? And that's another aspect of it. Like, how do you define religion? What is a religion? When you say freedom of religion, just anybody just screaming, crazy ideas from a street corner, right? Is that freedom of religion? What defines something as a religion? So there are a lot of aspects to this. Pastafarianism. I mean, they've been trying to get the it, look. A secular person goes in, wants to wear a pasta strainer on his head and get a driver's license photo. Not allowed. Okay. Someone wants to go get a driver's license photo with a hijab on their head, or with a yarmulke or kippah or something on their head, completely turban on their head, all allowed. It's okay. The privilege is religion, right? And
Yeah,
it should.
and it's not like this is a big deal for us, but it's supposed to show. This is supposed to show, like we. It's not about like we really want to pass a trainer on our head. Like we really want this. This whole experiment was to show the privilege that religion has. Not that this is an important right that we want to have, right? It's supposed to like visually show to you how ridiculous. Like if it can be true about this, then imagine all the because people don't get bored when you talk about rights that matter. So you do an example like this so that people could visually see if this can happen, then it must be religions must be getting a lot of privilege in a lot of other areas under the name of freedom of religion. That it is not fair, right?
Yeah, it's
But
true. Like, if I go in, because the whole point of on a driver's license, on a national sort of identity documents, is the idea is that you don't want to obscure your identity. You want it to be absolutely clear what you look like in your driver's license photo or any kind of identification document, official identification document. So if you have someone who wears a turban on their head, they're going to allow you to do that, and you're going to be
yeah,
able to get
but
your thing done that way. But if I actually literally wrap a towel in my head in the same shape as a turban, and I go there and I tell them I'm not Sikh, I'm just doing this because this is my belief, they're not going to allow me to do that. They'll be like,
yeah,
take that
but
towel
my
off.
my point is because a lot of people are idiots, Ali, and they don't understand that it's not that people might ask, why? Well, why do you want? Why are you fighting for the right to wear a towel on your head? Like, why does that matter to you? Like, this is not about putting a towel on your head. This is about showing you that if this idiocy, if people can see, like, well, putting that around your head, that's religion, so that's allowed. But putting a towel around your head is not a religion, so it's not allowed. If this is how the laws operate right now, then this lunacy must be affecting many other areas in our life where religions get privilege. over other people, right?